What's up, guys? Made it to Taiwan. Played London early, actually. Also, this is not exactly the best vlogging camera that I've got. Just checked in, but you know how dedicated I am to you guys. So yeah, just been setting up the workstation. And guys, look at this. Insane. Like right by the ocean, you've got mountains. The house comes with a... Most exciting part for me is like the house comes with a hot tub that has hot spring water. You bet I'm gonna be... It's a little bit dark right now, but that's hot spring water, which is pretty insane. But yeah, anyways, without further ado, let's get into the video because I do need to go to dinner at some point. I haven't ate anything the whole day. But yeah, actually, let's get into the video. And guys, this is your first look at a new camera. If you guys remember, the last time I had a motorbike accident, this is the state of the previous camera at the moment. Not exactly what you would call ideal. So this is my first ever full frame camera that I bought. This new Sony a7 IV, and this is your first look at the new camera. But anyways, we set up the camera and let's get to it. I do want to go for dinner sometime soon. Haven't ate anything today. Let's see if I can figure out how to connect this. Also picked up a new tripod, which I'm figuring out how to use right now. And voila, I think we have it. Imagine if this falls. It's going to be a funny way to see this new camera go. Anyways, I think this is about right. All right, yeah, looks very good, if I will say so myself. All right, let's take a look at Bitcoin. So I'm going to keep things brief, primarily because we don't really have news today. But it doesn't mean that we're not going to get a trade. It's just, we want to play a little bit more safe. So kicking things off with the daily buys, we have a bearish daily buys, as you can see from there, which means that we are looking for a short. Now, as for the targets for the short today, I reckon these couple of relatively equal lows that have been left behind since a couple of weeks ago might be a good target to hit for Bitcoin today. Coming down into the 1 hourly chart, the PD arrays in this case are quite clear. You, of course, have a big block of kind of resistance over here on the 1 hourly in terms of, just bearish order blocks. But whether or not, if you ask me, it's quite unlikely that price is going to retrace all the way back there before dropping today. So I'm going to give you guys a little bit more of a realistic type of target, which in this case is going to be this feather gap, and as well as this one. And yes, I understand that this feather gap here is not particularly far away from where current price is either. So essentially the setup is, as you retrace into the PD array, you would look for price to drop during the New York session between 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. Now, there is also another potential where you will just start dumping from this point onwards. Like by the time you watch this video, if things are just, going straight down, then for a fact that more likely than not, this is going to be a momentum trade, which means that by the time you look at the chart, just wait for price to retrace into this newly formed order block and you can trade it lower. Now, as for the ideal trading times for today, it's nothing really special because you don't have news today, which means that you're just going to be looking at the New York kill zone in general. So that's between 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. And outside of that, let's take a look at, the price action on the 5-minute. You can see so far, London has given you a very strong breakout towards the downside. And so far, the majority of London has been trading below the Asia lows. This leads me to believe that potentially we are looking at some sort of accumulation, a breakout, continuation type of play. So that continuation could, again, either come once you go through that family gap, or it could also come once you just break down on that newly formed 1 hourly order block, and both are going to be valid. I may or may not be able to, come online and just kind of like live trade with you guys, but if I do happen to take any live trades, feel free to follow me on X. That's where I'm going to be posting everything. But otherwise, just taking a look at ETH real quick, just to compare it to Bitcoin. You can already see that ETH is much closer compared to Bitcoin to those relatively equal lows. Same chart, but ETH is looking relatively weaker compared to Bitcoin. And yeah, you can see over here, ETH is just straight up breaking down. So the setup for ETH is going to be pretty straightforward as well. Over here, you have a family gap, and so far, this is already a newly formed order block. So in the event that you retrace into either one of these levels, I would assume the order block at the hours of 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. New York, that is going to be the setup that you take. Now, in terms of the 5-minute chart, I reckon it's going to be very similar to Bitcoin as well. And yes, it is. So nothing too much to talk about there in terms of Ethereum. Next up, we have Solana. Solana is looking quite a bit stronger compared to Bitcoin and Ethereum. However, you're still dealing with a bearish daily bias, even though you are coming into this bullish feather gap on the daily chart. Again, we trade the daily bias. A market that is going down or up, in this case, can go a lot further down or up before, it changes. And so ultimately we follow whatever the market is trying to tell us. In this case, the market is clearly showing us signs that it's wanting to go down. So in this case, we'll just focus towards the downside. And in terms of the downside, you have this fair value gap over here. You have another fair value gap over there. Basically, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. is very straightforward. It's like across the board right now. It's just if you get momentum trading opportunities to just go trade with the trend, with the momentum, that's what you focus on. And if there happens to be any trade ideas that I'm, going to take myself, I will post it on Twitter. So feel free to follow me there. But otherwise, I don't think there's too much else to talk about other than the fact that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is going to be the main trading days for the week, considering you had news, quite a bit of news actually. And so tomorrow is when we're starting, tomorrow is when we're going to start to be a lot more active in terms of the trading side of things. As you guys know, this system performs exceptionally well when there is news and when the trend is clear, and not so much when you don't have news and the market may be chopping around. Now, today, the market is not chopping around, but you don't have news. That will reduce the probability by a bit. So in the event that you do take a trade, just feel free to go half risk, and that is going to be a pretty good idea. But otherwise, guys, I'm going to go explore the city. Well, city. I'm going to go explore the village for a bit, hopefully go have some dinner, and I'll see you guys later or tomorrow. Ciao, ciao.